When I think of like an intense action scene, my mind immediately goes to, well, a wall of sound.
Oh, sure. Explosions, shouting, metal clashing, just pure chaos.
Exactly. But today we're doing a deep dive into an excerpt from the last Ration, Episode 3, The Echo of the Grave.
Yeah.
And it completely flips that script.
It really does, because instead of bombarding you with noise, the author uses this absolute dead silence to build up a completely suffocating atmosphere.
Right, and that is exactly our mission for today. We want to deconstruct how stripping away sound actually makes a life or death struggle, infinitely more stressful.
Yeah, and it starts right in that opening scene. We drop in on the protagonist fighting a creature in a ruined store, but the text explicitly calls it a frantic, soundless dance of death.
Which is just such a brutal description. I mean, he is pinning this zombie against a rusted shelf.
Right, with those yellow teeth snapping just inches from his throat.
Yeah, until he finally drives that iron spike up through its jaw with that awful, wet squelch.
But the part that genuinely surprised me, well, it's that nobody makes a sound.
Not a single grunt or battle cry.
None. It feels less like reading a fight and more like trying to defuse a live bomb while you're trapped in a wrestling match.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. One slip, one gasp, and it's all over. But why does taking the audio away feel so much worse than like reading a loud, chaotic brawl?
Well, it's because psychological horror really thrives on restriction. I mean, think about it. When you are terrified, what is your very first biological instinct?
To scream, probably.
Yep.
Or, at least a gasp for air.
Exactly. Vocalizing your terror is a basic human release valve. So by forcing the character to suppress that instinct, the tension has nowhere to go.
It just stays trapped inside.
Right. It's trapped inside the character.
Yeah.
And because you're experiencing the world through them, it is trapped inside you as the reader.
But holding your breath during a literal fight to the death has a massive physical cost.
Oh, absolutely. The moment he finally neutralizes the threat, the adrenaline crashes and his lungs are just burning. He actually has to clamp a hand over his own mouth to keep from gasping loudly.
And that forced physical restriction really redirects our attention to the visual details of the scene.
Oh, yeah. We get that striking visual contrast.
The dark, thick blood splattering across the bright golden label of that peach can.
The ultimate bloody prize. I mean, it is almost cruel, isn't it? The author hands us this bright symbol of survival, these peaches, just to let our guard down for a split second.
It is a classic bait and switch. The author is literally weaponizing hope here. The second you secure that prize, you feel a brief flash of relief.
You think he's won?
You do. But the text immediately hits us with the realization that the silence has already been punctured.
That transition is what really gets under my skin. The claustrophobia of that hand-to-hand fight instantly expands into this massive external threat.
Because outside the store, these frozen statues start twitching.
Yes, with their necks cracking in perfect unison.
The shift from complete silence to rhythmic noise is what drives the dread home. You go from the quiet, wet squelch of the iron spike to the synchronized dragging of a dozen stalkers' feet on the asphalt.
Which flips the traditional horror trope completely on its head.
Right.
The monster isn't even the primary threat anymore.
Right, the fear of simply being hurt is.
Exactly. By the end of the excerpt, the protagonist is curled into a ball behind the counter, and it's his own biology betraying him. His racing heartbeat feels like the loudest thing in the room.
It proves that masterful horror is not just about jump scares or the monster. It's about strictly controlling the senses, especially the dread of making a sound.
It really is. Which leaves us with a final thought for you to take away today. Think about the space you are sitting in right now.
Mm-hmm.
If all the modern background noise around you, the hum of the fridge, the traffic outside, the AC, if it all just completely vanished right now, what tiny everyday sound in your own room would suddenly feel deafeningly loud?